November 2013. You're watching KTN Weekend at One. My name is Najma Ismael. One person was killed and scores injured in a dawn accident along Kipande Road in Nairobi. The accident involved a bus belonging to Kisii Classic Company. The driver of the bus is said to have lost control of the vehicle, ramming into a wall.
The early morning accident claimed one life while scores were injured after the driver of the bus they were traveling in lost control of the Homa Bay bound bus and hit a wall along Kipande Road in Nairobi.
Hapa usiku around kitu saa kumi kamili. Alafu sasa niliona basi kitoka kwa mwendo wa mbio sana. Alafu sasa vile ilienda mwendo wa mbio nikashtukia imeturn. Kuturn ikaanguka. Kainuka sasa. Kuinuka ikachapa keti ya kwanza na ya pili.
Nataka kugonga geti iko mbele. Pale juu kaona kajaribu hata akaenda upande ile. Gasa gari haendi mzuri kwa barabara, anaenda hivi. Alikuwa anataka kuja kugonga hiyo dereva aliona hii stima hii italeta shida, akakuja sasa akagonganisha wapi hapa.
Most of the injured, numbering around 50, were rushed to the Kenyatta National Hospital and other nearby hospitals where some were treated and discharged. The exact cause of the accident is yet to be established. Victims, however, attributed it to speeding.
Nafikiri ilikuwa basi speeding akashindwa sasa kufanya hiyo kona hivi. Sasa tu gari ikaenda na ikaanguka chini.
Government has really tried, but we, the drivers, we need to do much more. Accidents like the one that has just happened, this was avoidable. It could have been avoided. Because if you look at it, it was because of the driver was very tired, he was sleeping. That's why the accident happened.
The driver of the bus is reported to have escaped. This comes barely 4 days after yet another accident involving a train and a minibus in Umoja, Nairobi.
Now, Deputy President William Ruto arrived back in the country this morning from The Hague after the International Criminal Court granted him leave to keep court sessions next week. Ruto arrived at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport shortly after 6:30 a.m. and was received by senior government officials. Ruto will take charge of government affairs as President Uhuru Kenyatta heads to South Africa tomorrow for a 3-day official visit. The Deputy President will later in the week chair a meeting on refugees en route in Nairobi. The ICC granted Ruto leave for a week after the Deputy President attended court sessions for only 2 days last week. He was in the country as President Uhuru Kenyatta visited Rwanda on official duties. Residents of Taveta County are asking the Kenya Wildlife Service to address the human-wildlife conflict occasioned by elephants straying from the Tsavo National Park. The residents say the stray elephants have adversely affected their operations.
Human-wildlife conflict is not foreign to Kenya. It plays out along the hard edges, areas where nature reserves end and villages begin. And this is the case in Taveta District, Taita Taveta County. Here, in Jipe location, occupants of this house would not leave their house. A roaming elephant has made a stopover here. Residents say this has been a routine. Though an ongoing campaign dubbed Savo Pride is creating awareness on how to live peacefully with elephants here, the risk may be too high.
Lakini wanakuja kufuata ndani ya nyumba mpaka shuleni, hata usiku hatutembei. Haya, tunakaa tu ndani ya nyumba.
Just a few kilometers over this side, having a lot of conflict with the village. Here we get the conflict, but it's very different from what we're seeing in other villages.
Residents may not be in a hurry to embrace this for now. For instance, they have to suspend their normal operations until the elephants leave their compound. And even after the elephants leave, the aftermath is bare for all to see. Destruction. There is a serious impact of human-wildlife conflict. People lose their crops, livestock, property, and sometimes their lives. And even though residents here say no one has been killed by the elephants recently, there are other negative impacts. Learning in schools in such areas is often adversely affected. In a primary school not far from here, the school management has even written to the Kenya Wildlife Service, seeking a lasting solution. It has become a usual occurrence for pupils and teachers here to report to school late as they wait for the elephants to leave. In several occasions, some pupils will not attend school altogether.
Tulivyokuja shuleni tukakuta wenzetu wanaendelea na masomo, tukakuja katikati, tukaanzia masomo yetu katikati.
As calls to conserve jumbos intensify, those who have to live with them find themselves in a not so pleasant situation to save the elephants or to secure their lives and their property, leaving them with one call to the concerned stakeholders: arrest the situation if any meaningful development in such areas is to be released. Angel Katusia, KTN.
What NASA is calling the most interesting eclipse of the year is said to take place today, but NASA says the overall event is a rare hybrid eclipse, meaning the eclipse will first appear as a ring of fire before changing to a full eclipse. The eclipse will only be visible for a short time at sunrise on the American East Coast, where it will appear as a partial solar eclipse. It will look like a half or three-quarter moon. If you plan on sneaking a peek, be careful not to look directly at the sun. Marsabit Sibiloy National Park is one of the best points to witness this spectacle, which is expected to take place between 5 to 6 p.m. local time. You can check out space.com for tips on safe viewing. The acting Secretary General of the Kenya National Union of Teachers, Mudzonzili, says the scramble for the Secretary General's post between him and former Chairman Wilson Sossion will not overshadow the push for improved terms of service for the teachers. Nzili is vying for the post against former Chairman Wilson Sossion in the election scheduled for December.
The acting Secretary General and his good friend, the National Chairman Wilson Sossion, are demonstrating lack of accommodation, particularly where the national chairman has demonstrated openly that he is vacating his seat so that he can contest for the post of the Secretary General, whereupon I'm supposed to be endorsed. Whereas I'm not complaining for his ambition, I only call upon the delegates and the teachers of Kenya to be patient as the election date approaches. But in the intervening time, as the Secretary General, we have issues to undertake. For example, the intended medical scheme that the Teacher Service Commission intends to introduce without involving Kenya National Union of Teachers.
There are concerns that the poor state of the Voi-Mwatate highway is contributing to the rising cases of road carnage there. Mwatate residents say the road is slippery and marred with heaps of sand. They complain that the construction of the road has taken too long. According to the contracted construction company, the work has stalled for the last 1 month due to lack of funds. They allege that the government is yet to release additional funds allocated for the repair of the 43-kilometer road.
Gari yangu nilipata matatizo kwamba ni katika josti. Nilipo katika josti ikaruka kushoto. Niliporuka kushoto ikashindwa kurudi barabarani. Baada ya hapo ndo ikatokea kontena kalala upande moja. Upande mwingine umeweka kifuzi, haijaweza kusambazwa. Tunaomba itengenezwe, hata isambazwe, hata angalau hata wenzetu waendelee kupita vizuri.
Katika ile hali ya kutafuta nini ambacho kinaendelea ni kuwa tunaambia mafuta hayapo kwa sasa, hatuelewi.
We'll now take a short commercial break. Don't go too far. We will be back with more news. Welcome back. You're watching KTN Weekend at One. 22-year-old Siato Sikawa was crowned Miss Tourism Narok after the county held the finals of the competition yesterday night. Siato, a public relations and electronic media graduate, beat 10 other finalists in the heavily contested competition. Beauty, brains, demeanor, public speaking skills and personality were among qualities put to test by the panel of judges in selecting the winner. Speaking at the event, Narok County Governor Samuel Tunai urged girls from the county to contest in various national beauty pageants, stating that they would be county ambassadors in helping to bring the county and its products to a global platform. Sikawa will now compete with 46 other county finalists at the Miss Tourism Kenya 2013 finals on November 30th, 2013. There are growing concerns of dropping education standards in Nyeri as a result of alcoholism and shortage of teachers. Previously, Nyeri would be ranked in the top 10 list of best performing regions in the country. Education stakeholders in the county met at the ASK Karibuni showgrounds to address the challenges. They included school heads, district education officers and school board officials. They asked the government to address the shortage of teachers countrywide and seek ways to motivate both teachers and students. They also recommended the improvement of early childhood education centers to offer children a strong educational foundation.
We are going to set performance standards for our institutions, both in primary and secondary. We are going to benchmark where we are now, so that next year we expect to be here, the year after that we expect to be here.
Is that there were circumstances when the county government wanted to build primary schools and build secondary schools, but they were not being allowed to do so by the controller of budget, by virtue of the fact that primary school and secondary school has not been devolved. So there is that issue. And I have taken it upon myself and my committee to meet up with Professor Kaimenyi, and I have done that. And I have explained to the cabinet secretary, I have said, infrastructure has never been, since I can remember, has never really been the job of the national government.
She has lived with her secret for over 20 years, but she's finally breaking the code of silence, seeking to overcome the trauma of an ordeal that changed her life. We'll call her Margaret, but it's not her real name. Margaret was a victim of a gang rape. She's our survivor this week.
We will call her Margaret, but it is not her real name. We first met at Nairobi's Milimani Law Courts. In front of tens of people, her lawyer blurted out a secret hidden deep in the memory vaults of December 1991. A secret known only to a few friends and close relatives.
Yeah, I didn't actually know it would hurt me like that. I really cried, and I thought maybe I would keep it and I would heal.
Her daughter urged her to seek healing by speaking about her ordeal. It all began on December 12th when her family decided to relocate from Nairobi to their 1,500-acre farm in Nandi Hills.
We were just talking after dinner, and then my baby was 3 months old. My daughter now is 22. So I was going to put her in bed, and actually she was not feeling too well because we had left her we didn't go with her for the wedding, so she was not too well. So she was crying. So I went to check on her, and I wanted to go to the bedroom, and I heard people knocking the door. So I ran to the bedroom and picked my kid.
It was at this point that the family heard a noise coming from outside the house. When her elder brother went to the door, a gang of men wielding machetes forced their way in, destroying everything inside.
The house, they broke almost everything. They were cutting things in the house, the tables, you know, the lamps. They just messed the whole place.
Margaret would not let go of her baby. None of the men cared. They each took a turn at her, violating Margaret as she held her baby in her arms.
Don't even remember what really happened. So they put me down. Then they started like raping me, like many guys, you know. And then one wanted to strangle me. I told him, don't kill me because I have a small baby. So he wanted to strangle the baby. I told him, I'd rather you kill me, but don't kill my baby.
They left her and her baby for dead in the farm.
One of them said, let's kill her. Another one said, no, we shouldn't kill her because we've done enough. And if it was the mother, then we'd have killed the mother. But no, she's not the one. And this is their daughter. We've taught her a lesson.
After a few hours, she gathered the courage to look for the rest of her family.
In the house, they threw stones. So we thought they were coming back to this house we were in. Then my uncle's wife screamed. And then they came around the house and they said, no, we shouldn't attack these other ones.
The following day, the same men returned and ordered her family to go back to where they came from, threatening them with even worse treatment.
Early February 1992, they wrote a letter and they put it under the door, telling me if I don't move, they want my head. I decided to move. So I went to Eldoret and I was displaced. Up to today, we don't have anything. We lost each and everything, but I don't lose hope.
They did not just seek justice in the courts of law, but also among Nandi elders through a baraza. The men arrested for the rape were later released because of lack of evidence. In the early 90s, rape was an issue that was often swept under the rug.
You go, you'll be arrested, yes, but you will be released. There's no case that was ever done. Nothing. There was no court case. There was literally nothing.
But this dark patch in Margaret's past has made her a stronger woman. Now an event manager, she takes time to appreciate little pleasures in life, like the sight of her daughter's smile, the warm comfort of her mother's touch. She'll not give her assailants power over her happiness.
They say justice delayed is justice denied. And in the dead of the night, the assailants are still at large. But for Christine, she still believes and has hope that one day they will be brought to books. Winnie Kamau, KTN for the Survivor Series.
Wow, that is one courageous woman. Moving on to the international scene now, tension is running high in Pakistan after a drone strike killed the leader of the Pakistan Taliban. Hakimullah Masood and 3 others were killed in the strike in northwestern Pakistan on Friday. It is unclear whether Masood's death will ultimately derail peace talks between the Pakistan government and the Taliban. Nick Robertson has the latest from London.
Well, the fallout from that drone strike killing Hakimullah Masood really is escalating significantly. The Pakistan Foreign Ministry calling in the U.S. ambassador in Islamabad to debate, talk, discuss about this issue of the drone strike and the killing of Masood. Why? Because it's a very sensitive subject right now, more so than normal, because the talks that the Pakistan government had hoped to hold with the Pakistani Taliban, it would have been Hakimullah Masood fronting for the Pakistani Taliban, bringing together those disparate groups. This could lead perhaps to the splintering of those groups, perhaps make it much harder for them to trust the government. They may believe that the government is complicit in the killing of Hakimullah Masood, and therefore it makes the possibility of the talks potentially much harder to achieve. So right now, a real concern about short-term stability, increase in potential for attacks inside Pakistan against government there. The government afraid that the talks will collapse, and perhaps the medium and longer term threat there that the Pakistani Taliban would try and strike back at the United States in some spectacular form.
Now, fireworks boom, bulb flashes and flames flicker as tens of millions of people across the globe celebrate the beginning of the Festival of Lights, or if you like, Diwali. From the word Deep Valley, meaning Ra of Lights, Diwali is observed by Hindu, Sikh and Jain communities. They celebrate for 5 days to mark the victory of light over darkness. This year, the festival begins today with splashes of color, lighting displays and blaring parties set to greet Diwali's arrival, celebrated for centuries across much of the Indian subcontinent. Diwali is now spreading the promise of wealth, knowledge and happiness to new communities across the world. Well, that's it on the Weekend at One. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Najma Ismael. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.